Hello Mississauga, I'm Chris Kukoc and this is your Mississauga market update for February 2018. As an added bonus today, I have included my free report, Buyer Tips on How to Find Your Dream Home. Just click the link below, you can download the PDF and get a copy for yourself. In January, the average sale price in the Toronto Real Estate Board was $736,000. Now sales themselves were down over last year, but you have to consider a couple of things. One, we started off this year with some freezing cold weather. Not very many people were wanting to go outside and look at houses. And two, there were not a ton of new listings, and the new listings that we did have, they sold pretty quickly. So I don't know if this is quite indicative of what we have to come in 2018. Let's take a look at the micro markets. In Mississauga in January, the average price of a detached home was a little over $1 million. That's down about 13.5% over last year, and we're seeing about 3.9 months of inventory. Now in a semi-detached, average price was $686,000, which is down about 6.4% from last year, and we've got about 1.9 months of inventory. In the Mississauga Townhouse market, the average sale price was $547,000, which is a little over 1% over last year. We've got about 1.9 months of inventory. However, in the Toronto condo market, the average sale price last month was $401,000, which is up almost 17% over last year. We're down to about 1.6 months of inventory. Now, the reason this is happening in the condo markets in particular are the low months of inventory. Now, the higher the months of inventory goes, the more choices there are out there. When there's less choices, you have to pay a little bit more to get what you want. The analogy I like to use for this is the grocery store. Now, if you can picture walking into the grocery store and half the shelves are empty, you'd be competing with the rest of the people in the store for the items that were left. The same thing is going on in the housing market right now, with the condo market in particular. I want you to keep in mind that over the next 4 months, you're going to see some pretty scary headlines in the newspaper and on TV. Remember that January to April of last year was the busiest market with the fastest appreciation in Toronto real estate history. Once fair housing came out in April, things slowed down a little bit, but the year-over-year comparison versus that crazy time is not really fair. Now, I'm not saying it's fake news, but it is definitely taken out of context. Now, you've probably heard me say this before, but real estate was never intended to be looked at on month-over-month or even a year-over-year basis, which happens to be the way that we reported in the newspaper and on TV. It needs to be looked at a multi-year or even decade-over-decade basis. Now, if you extend the time horizon out to even 2 years, I suspect you'll find your investments doing just fine. It's much more important to focus on the economic indicators that drive the housing market. Now, there's 3 main fundamentals you want to keep your eye on. Those are the interest rate, the employment rate, and the immigration. And all historically are very strong right now. If you have any questions at all or want to know how this information applies to you specifically, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm never more than a phone call away. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.